Alright, I'm unboxing a pocket cannon that I've wanted for a really long time. I used to have something sort of like this. Not quite, but sort of like this. So I picked up an M&P here. And this happens to be a shield variant. So let's see what we got here. There's all the standard paperwork and everything in there. Got me a shield. It's clear, but let's take a look at the front there. Yeah, that is not your 9mm. This is a M&P 45 Shield M2.0. So I've wanted one of these for a very long time, just because 45 ACP is such a great cartridge. When you're talking short barrels, when you're talking 9mm and stuff like that, something like a 45 can have some advantages over like a 9mm. Capacity is kind of low, but if you look at a lot of the old school stopping power charts and stuff like that, it shows most of your like round nose 38, 380, stuff like that. I would assume 9mm would be in there with it at being basically a 50% one-shot stop. 45 automatic is like 63%. That's out of a 5-inch barrel, but one thing I love about the 45 automatic is when you go from a longer barrel to a shorter barrel, with a lot of ammo it doesn't really change a whole lot. But enough of that. We're going to do our first shots with this. So it comes with one 6-round magazine, and then it comes with an extended magazine that holds 7 rounds. So the pistol I used to have that was kind of like this was a Glock 36. That was a 6-round, but it was a lot like fatter than this thing. This thing is really thin. It just fits my hand a little bit better. It has all of the right spacing where you want it to be rather than just a fat wide grip, so I really like that. Has the hinge trigger. I actually prefer that. Most people don't, and that's because most people are shooting just semi-automatic pistols, so they're accustomed to doing this all day, tip of their finger. But when you're someone like me that's shooting a lot of different stuff, including revolvers, you kind of want a trigger where it's not so finicky about exact finger placement, because when you're going from shooting semi-auto to a revolver back and forth, sometimes you don't think about it and you're just on that first joint there like that. And I like to be able to have it work no matter what. This model does not have the external thumb safety. Honestly, this is just the one I found that I got a good deal on it. I would have went either way with it, but this one just simply doesn't have it, which is not good or bad. I could live with it either way. So let's do our first shots with our M&P 45 Shield. And before I do our first shots, let's take a nice look at this up close. This thing is clear and empty, and I'm not standing right behind the camera. I'm standing off to an angle, so when I tilt this towards the lens, it's not tilting towards me. But one thing I really like about that pistol is just the thinness of the slide, and then you got that big huge muzzle. That has a little bit of an intimidation factor going on. I did clean and lube this thing up before I came out here, so it's a very nice looking pistol overall. So let's do our first shots. Alright, I'm at our standard 7-yard distance, so I'm going to start with the flush fit magazine. I'm just going to fire from 7 yards here, just kind of see how these things group. It's a little bit tight racking there on that first round there. Brand new pistol, but let's see what I get here from 7 yards. Not a bad grouping. They are all grouping just a little bit left for me, and that's a common thing I heard on a lot of different videos I saw of people reviewing this. Off the bat, it shoots a little bit to the left, so I'll probably have to drift this sight at some point, so that'll match my point of aim. But let's see how the 7-round magazine does. I pulled that one, definitely. I felt myself. Brand new trigger. It's a little bit stiff yet, but keep going. All right, let me load up and fire a few more. All right, let's see how controllable this thing is for me. And a little bit quicker. overall it feels really nice. Let me shoot the steel and see what kind of impact that will have on my steel target with these 45 autos from this short barrel. All right, 14 yards from the target, so I'm doubling that distance there. So let's see how hard this 45 auto from this little subcompact hits that steel. So let's see what we get here. All right, I got a few more rounds here. Mag release button's a little stiff, but it works pretty good. All right, so no malfunctions or anything like that, and I knew that before I came out here because I've had really good experience with M&P pistols. All of them I've never really had any problems with. I've had various problems with a lot of different pistols I bought, Taurus, Glock, Ruger, just various malfunctions and things like that. And I kind of find it interesting that I've had issues with those, but all of my M&Ps I have run flawlessly. So maybe it's just they fit my hand better, so I shoot them better, and maybe it's just the way the magazine release buttons are. I don't hit them or something, but for whatever reason, these are my preferred pistols, and I really like this 45 here, and it handles quite well. It's a 45. I would say the recoil is quite a bit less with this than my Taurus G2C 40 Smith & Wesson. So there's just a good feel with this. It's just a nice, you get some muzzle rise, but the actual, speed recoil back in your hand isn't much with this. So really nice overall. So, all right, I came back to 75 yards just for fun to see how this thing will shoot from some distance. So I got some Federal 45 Auto 230 grain high shock jacketed hollow points. Those jacketed hollow points tend to shoot a little bit better at distance. So let's see how that stuff will do from 75 yards. I don't know if I'll hit or miss, but just for fun, let's see what this will do. Shooting a little bit left. A little bit low. One way off. All right, found out where to hold right at the end of there. I had to aim high and quite a bit right. So, if that shoulder there, right here, I had to aim like right here. So, not hitting quite point of aim for me. Just kind of goofing off at this point. So yeah, that thing shoots pretty good for me, and this part here is cut in the next day out because I realized that I didn't really make this video long enough, and I didn't really shoot from some distance with some jacketed hollow points. But I'm glad I did because this gives me even more insight. I've filmed multiple things and shot a lot of rounds since the day I unboxed it there, and really hot stuff and normal stuff like this, a lot of ball ammo, not a single malfunction yet. And we're talking really warm stuff, 45 plus P, 200 grain, the stuff that's very powerful, that's over 500 foot-pounds energy stuff out of my longer barrel Glock. Totally reliable. And the only problem I'm having is that I need to get these sights adjusted. I tried drifting them a little bit to the left, but the hex key I had broke off, and then I was able to get that out, but I got to find another one before I can drift it over a little bit more to the left. So very cool pistol overall. I'm really liking it. Another thing I'm finding is that with the really warm ammo, when you're using this magazine, it's quite painful actually, because you're gripping in more with these two fingers into this very aggressive texture, as when you get the extended grip. Now this doesn't make a difference with normal ammo, like the ammo I just shot, that doesn't make a difference with the grips, but with that hot stuff, the plus P, this makes all the difference, because instead of just gripping in with those two and you're getting that dug into there, the third one, it evens that out. So with the really warm plus P ammo, this is not that much more uncomfortable to shoot than a 9mm. But when you're shooting that really hot stuff and you don't got that bottom thing there, then it really starts to hurt. So very nice pistol. I'm really liking this thing. So that's it to get today for our unboxing. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.